All right, Zack and Mac, holiday edition. Matt, how you doing? Christmas Eve tomorrow, or it's Christmas Eve now if you're watching right now.
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good, Zach. Merry Christmas to you and
Merry Christmas to you as well.
your family, and hope everybody has a Merry Christmas out there. It's the holiday season. I mean, I've been jamming to Christmas music the
Oh yeah,
last few weeks, and I'm really excited to get this show rolling, Zach. This is a little special holiday treat for you guys. We got some fun segments out there, especially later on. You don't want to miss our holiday gift for our favorite teams. You got to tune in for that one.
no, that's gonna be a lot of fun. We're gonna talk a little NBA, a little NHL, which I know we don't usually do. Also, we're gonna give each of our favorite teams one holiday gift, and of course, we're gonna tie a bow on this show with our NFL picks. This is our 10th episode. We're going to use this. This is going to be our last episode of 2020. And then we'll come back probably the first week of 2021 with some New Year's resolutions, this and that. We figured episode 10, right before the holiday season. Let's make this one a real good one. Tie a bow on what's been not a great year.
A rough 2020.
A pretty
sure.
rough go, yes. So let's get started, though, with some really good news, at least good news for me. Matt, how about them Brooklyn Nets? 125-99 home win against the Golden State Warriors. They made a statement last night.
Yes, they did, Zach. There's no doubt about it. They told the rest of the NBA to watch out after that performance. There's just no other way to look at it. Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving were working really well. Kevin Durant only played 25 minutes in this game and had 22 points. Kyrie had a really nice performance. The big three really had over 20 points, with LeVert adding 20 of his own, Zach.
Yeah.
But I think this shows you that this Nets team is legitimate. I think it shows you that they are going to be contender in the Eastern Conference and maybe get to the NBA Finals. If this team stays healthy, I don't really see a team with a better roster than them. They got a really deep bench, and I think that's going to be the key for them moving forward, Zach, is how's that bench going to play? Because you already know Kevin Durant and Kyrie are going to do their thing. They're going to get their buckets. But how are the other guys going to play? And they really showed that they are going to play pretty well in this game against Golden State. I don't want to read too much into it just because it's the first game of the season. But what this does tell me, I'm going to look at the Golden State Warriors now, is everybody going into the season was like, don't sleep on this Warriors team. They still got Steph. I'm officially sleeping on this Golden State Warriors team. I don't think they're really that good. I love Steph Curry. He's a walking bucket. He can pull up from anywhere on the basketball court. Yeah. I really like his game. But without Klay Thompson, you really just don't have a shot, in my opinion, in the Western Conference. When you look at some of the really strong teams in the conference alone, they're going to battle. I think they're going to be pretty decent and compete, but they are going to be competing for a 7th or 8th seed in the playoffs, Zach. I don't think they're that good. I don't think they're going to get a top 4 seed in the Western Conference. You got the Lakers, the Clippers, who looked really strong last night.
They did, and Denver, I didn't think they were going to win that game.
I didn't either. And they really – the thing with that game is the Clippers got up big in that game, blew the lead, and then it was close there in the third quarter, and PG-13 went off. I couldn't believe it.
I know. Paul George was lighting things up in that game.
They had no answer for him. The Lakers did. But, yeah, I just don't think this Golden State Warriors team is that good this year without Klay Thompson. And I don't know where that team goes the rest of the way. I think they're going to have some ups and downs. And I think it's going to be frustrating for Steph Curry because he's going to ball out. He's going to put up some big numbers, but they don't have any more offensive options, I don't think. Andrew Wiggins, he's a volume scorer, but he's very inconsistent. Draymond Green is going to do what Draymond Green does. He's not going to score.
He hasn't played yet.
Yeah, that's the thing. He hasn't played, but Draymond Green's not going to be that guy moving forward. I mean, he's not going to be that guy who gets you points. He's not going to do that. He's just not, because he's going to bang down low and play good defense. You just don't have many options there for the Golden State Warriors. Now, Kelly Oubre is going to get better as the season moves along. I like his game, and Wiseman's a rookie.
He had a terrible performance against the Nets, though. 6 points, 3 of 14 from the floor.
Yeah,
0 for 6 from
start,
3.
but
Yeah.
I agree. That's not a good
They
start.
were all over him.
Yeah, they were all over him. I just think you got to expect him to play better than that. There's just no other way to look at it. But yeah, Zach, I'm not really too impressed with this Warriors team, but I think we learned a lot about the Nets in this game.
I think so too. Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at the Warriors started 5. Not the most talented group they've rolled out. Certainly a more talented collection of players than they did last season when it seemed like everybody was on injured reserve or on some sort of list due to injury. But yeah, you look at the Nets, and the Nets kind of look like the Warriors did when they were going to all those title games. I mean, look at the starting 5. You have Kevin Durant, DeAndre Jordan, Kyrie Irving, Spencer Dinwiddie, and Joe Harris. That is a phenomenal start. That's one of the best starting 5s in the NBA.
That's the best starting 5 in the NBA.
And then let's check out some of these guys coming off the bench. You got Taurean Prince. You got Jared Allen, Karis LeVert, Landry Shamet. These are your bench players coming out. I remember hearing Marv Albert.
NBA.
Yeah, Marv Albert and Chris Webber were saying, yeah, this is their second unit coming out.
Yeah. Well, that was their starting unit, and they were making the playoffs with them.
Yeah. So this is a really, really deep team. I know I've been talking about their depth for really weeks and months now, but now we really got to see what came out of it. I mean, Jared Allen had a good game off the bench, 8 points and 7 rebounds there. Also dialed in a couple assists, as we mentioned, Karis LeVert. I like Karis LeVert.
Oh, yeah. He's
coming off the bench.
He's a stud. Yeah, he's
like
going to lead that second unit.
He is. Although I don't know how I feel about Dinwiddie. Like, Dinwiddie is a starter in this league, but I'm so used to seeing him coming in as a 6th man and slicing and dicing through second units.
Yep.
And, he's really a third option, or really kind of almost a 3A, and with the 3B being Joe Harris, just because of the kind of player that Harris is. I know Dinwiddie's obviously the bigger star of the two, but after Kyrie and Durant, those two guys do different things. Dinwiddie attacks a little bit better. He can shoot as well, but Joe Harris is that perimeter guy.
Yeah,
I think we'll see them having similar point totals as this season goes on. It's going to be Katie and Kyrie, LeVert on the bench, and then Dinwiddie isn't going to put all the flashy numbers that he's been putting up like in the past year or so, but you're really going to see Spencer Dinwiddie make some big contributions in that starting 5. And yeah, talk about a statement win. Now, it did come against a depleted Golden State team, but then of course they have their big Christmas Day game, and I think that's where going to be even more of a test for the Brooklyn Nets.
Yeah, Zach, I agree with you completely.
Against Boston, there we go. I thought it was Boston.
Yeah, and that's going to be a big test. There no Kemba Walker for the Celtics. He's missing a lot of time, but like you said, it's going to be a big test. Kyrie's return back to Boston again, and Kevin Durant, he's going to want to stick it to him as well.
Absolutely.
This Nets team, if they stay healthy, I don't really see who can beat them other than like a Bucks right now. I mean, I know it's the first game of the season,
and they're going to go head to head. They're going to go hard again.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I know it's the first game of the season, but I think just from watching that game, I didn't expect that to be that much of a dominant performance. They just trotted out, had fun. You know, you don't really see that often from like a Kyrie-led team. It seems like there's so much controversy, and now that they got some big players around him, Kevin Durant now and LeVert that we mentioned, and some of these other guys, they're going to be really hard to beat, man. And if they stay healthy, I think they get to the Eastern Conference Finals pretty easily.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, again, we can't put too much stock in one game, but the way that they work together, well, now I saw a few hiccups, and this just might be me nitpicking. They threw way too many lob passes in that game. Did you see that?
Yeah, they were getting a little bit careless with the ball. And
yeah, they were getting a little bit.
When you play better teams, those turnovers, can turn into offense.
Right, that's not going to cut it against, a Bucks or, other big players out there in the East, the Celtics, the Raptors, whoever else that you want to throw into that mix right there. But I think that they were just like you mentioned, they went out there, they had fun. I think Kyrie feels really comfortable on this team. I think this is the first time that he's felt comfortable because he's going exactly where he wants to go. He was drafted by Cleveland, traded to Boston, chose now to go with the Nets.
Yep.
These are his guys. And, also, as many people think, had a big hand in picking who the head coach was going to be.
Yeah,
I wasn't too happy when I heard that they pretty much edged out Kenny Atkinson because I thought he was the right guy for this team. And I still think he is. But I don't dislike Steve Nash. I just don't like the circumstances in which he became the coach. You know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
I like him though, and if he's the right guy to coach this team, I mean, he's showing it right now. They had a great game against Golden State, and yeah, I really think that this Brooklyn Nets team can make some noise in the Eastern Conference and maybe just all across the NBA. To be completely honest, Matt, I mean, well, if Kyrie's off, you got KD. I mean, if those guys are off, Dinwiddie and Harris can take control. You got Jared Allen and DeAndre Jordan cleaning things up. You got an incredible bench unit led by Karis LeVert. I mean, this is a team where 3 of their guys could be off one night and you could still win by 20 points.
Absolutely, Zach. I really like this Nets team. I said it last week. I said that they could get to the Eastern Conference Finals, and actually, I said they would go into the NBA Finals preseason.
You did.
And I really I think this is the most complete team in the NBA from just top to bottom. And if they stay healthy and KD doesn't get hurt and Kyrie doesn't get hurt and there's no outside distractions, or they could really do something special here. And people forget when Kevin Durant got hurt with that Achilles injury,
Yeah.
he was the best player in basketball. He was. I thought he was better than LeBron James at that point in time. Now, obviously, I'm a big LeBron guy, and I think LeBron James is the better player overall. But at that time, when he was with the Golden State Warriors, he was the best player. He was just lethal from anywhere, and he was dominating teams.
And he's fast.
And
he's fast. You saw that in the Nets game. His Achilles not bothering him anymore.
Yeah, and that the layoff in the NBA with COVID and the cancellation of the season and then the restart, I think it really helped him because it gave him more time to just rest that Achilles, strengthen it, and now you're seeing a resurgence from Kevin Durant, and this team is going to play with a chip on their shoulder because Kyrie had a rough season last year with the injuries, didn't have a good season in Boston. He got hurt, and the team went to the Eastern Conference Finals the one year, and then the next year they got knocked out by the Bucks. So they're going to play with the chip on their shoulder, especially Kevin Durant and Kyrie, because the one guy got hurt and wants to prove that he still got it. And Kyrie said, hey, I haven't been able to produce, or he hasn't been able to produce, and he's going to play with a chip on his shoulder as well. I like this Nets team, Zach.
Well, and also people accuse KD of, title chasing. They say he can't win without, Steph and Clay and them. Now he does have a different team this time with some stars, but yeah. And then this whole Nets team, I think, like you mentioned, should be playing with the chip on their shoulder. I mean, this is a team that 5 years ago, and I'm a big Nets fan, always have been my whole life. 5 years ago was in the midst of like a 20-something win season. They just hired Sean Marks. They were chasing after guys like Otto Porter Jr. And now they have Johnson on the team, but they set an offer sheet to him. They were just signing guys and trying to cobble a better team together to keep improving. And now here they are. They're the cream of the crop in the National Basketball Association. It's a really great feeling, and I hope that they can keep it going moving forward. So the NBA came back, a lot of fun. We're really getting rolling with that. Another winter sport coming back, Matt, is the National Hockey League. Now, we haven't really talked too much about the NHL, but it was announced that training camps for non-bubble teams will start December 31st. So that was really only 7 teams missed the playoffs. January 3rd for everybody else. And the season's set to begin on January 13th, Matt. And, you know what? I'm just going to go through the whole list of things, and then we could talk about it. So there's a lot of stuff a lot of changes for the NHL. They're going to cut down on the number of games down to 56 per team. And the big caveat, Matt, is that every team is only going to play within their division. Now, there's new divisional alignment. There's a North, West, Central, and East division. The North is all the Canadian teams. The West which is 7 teams. The West are the Ducks, the Coyotes, the Avalanche, the Kings, the Wild, the Sharks, the Blues, and the Golden Knights. The Central, Carolina, Chicago, Columbus, Dallas, Detroit, Florida, Nashville, and Tampa Bay. In the East are the Bruins, the Sabres, the Devils, the Islanders, the Rangers, Flyers, Penguins, and Washington. And the reason that they had to do that is because Canada still has those COVID restrictions, and, rightfully so, for non-essential business crossing the border. So I don't know, Matt, before we get into the other stuff, just to me, the divisional alignment It's just got me real excited. I mean, every team's going to play each other 8 times, except for the North. They're going to play 9 and 10 times each other.
Yeah, Zach, I'm with you on this. I'm really excited for this kind of new format with the new divisions, and you're going to see some heated games
Oh,
between all these teams because they're going to be playing each other. What is it, 8 times? And
mm-hmm.
you look at this Eastern Conference. Our teams are both in that Eastern division.
Yeah, the Flyers and the Rangers,
Yeah,
yeah.
Flyers and Rangers, our teams. That's a really stacked division, Zach. You got Boston in there, the Islanders, who had a really solid season, Philadelphia, who were people's picks to get to the Stanley Cup
Yeah, don't
in the
remind me.
bubble, and Washington. I'm really excited
Yeah.
to see these games. I just think it's going to be really high level. It's going to be intense, and I'm just really looking forward to this, Zach. I think the NHL nailed this one right on the head.
They
I'm
did.
pumped up. I'm also pumped up for that North division there, Zach, with all the Canadian teams battling it
That's going to
out.
be a lot of fun, isn't it?
I think
Yeah.
so too, because Canada's probably really pumped up for that, just knowing that
Oh, yeah.
all the teams are in one division.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. It doesn't get much better than that, man.
It doesn't.
I think hockey really did something great here. I think it's going to be awesome, and I'm really excited, Zach. I think that each division is going to be up for grabs, and you're going to find out who wants it more, really.
Yeah.
Because you're going to be facing the same teams every night, and you're going to have to battle and figure out ways to win.
Yeah, and this reminds me kind of how it used to be in hockey, like back in the day. You know, you played a lot inside your division, like, you know, when they had like the Patrick division and all that going on before they made it more like the NBA, Eastern Western Conference, and all that. And actually, that kind of rolls over a little bit into the way the playoffs will be set up. So the way that playoff hockey is going to work this year, it's still going to be 16 teams total, but it's going to be the top 4 teams in each division, which makes it the easiest in the North to get in, because that means more than, only 3 teams will miss out because they're the only 7-team division. Top 4 teams in each division make the playoffs, and the first 2 rounds of the playoffs will be intra-divisional. So that means that, the East will only play the East. The Central will only play teams from the Central. The West will only play teams from the West. And then, so that's for 2 whole rounds. So only one team from each division is going to come out, and then there's going to be the semifinals. Then all the teams will be reseeded based off of their regular season point totals. So even if like the fourth place team from the East could come out, they could end up being the number 3 or the 2 seed, depending on what the point total is from the winners of the other ones. Yep. So then 1 plays 4, 2 plays 3, and then the winner of those, that's your Stanley Cup final. And not only just the Stanley Cup final, from that regard, but you might end up with teams from the same, conference ended up playing each other. Like you could realistically have, like, I'm just pulling one out, like a Flyers Hurricanes Stanley Cup final, something like that. You could have, Winnipeg and St. Louis. You could have something cool like that. I just think that adds another great element. And honestly, Matt, why not keep this alignment moving forward in the way that they're doing that? I mean, I know it's just for COVID, and I'm not saying only playing the division, but just keep the alignment like this. You save on travel because they try to make everybody pretty much geographically close to each other, except for Canada. That might be a lot because they still have to span the entire country. Mm-hmm. But aside from that, I really like all the shuffling that we're going to end up seeing in the latter rounds of the playoffs. I think that could be really cool.
Yeah, Zach, I think this divisional format, with the divisions, I think it's going to work really well. You mentioned not having to travel as much, and I just think it's going to be some competitive puck.
Oh, for sure.
Just for some reason, the top 4 teams in each division make it, and especially in that East, I'm really looking forward to it because you look at a Rangers team, Zach, ascending, young team, made the playoffs last year, got bumped out of the first round there to the Hurricanes. You look at a team like the Islanders, who really surprised some people with how well they played.
They don't need John Tavares.
Yeah, exactly. They've really surprised some people with the way they stepped up in the playoffs. The Flyers are going to be really good again, and Boston,
The Caps.
and Boston, and
Yeah.
who, I mean, what can we say much more about them? They're always going to be a powerhouse there with Pasternak and the rest of their crew, and they got some really nice lines. And the Capitals, who you mentioned, Zach. I mean, this is a team that won the NHL Stanley Cup 2 years ago. They're going to play with a chip on their shoulder this year at the Grade 8. I mean, how do you not love the Grade 8? So I just think it's going to be a lot of fun, Zach. I'm looking forward to it. And let's go NHL, man. I think you really did something well here with this.
And I think especially the East and the North, I mean, they're going to have the most heated games that we've seen in a long time.
Man.
Every team in the East is a big rivalry for the most part.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm just thinking of all the ones that off the top of my head that me as a Flyers fan, like teams I can't stand, like the Rangers are in there. The Islanders are in there. The Penguins are in there. Yeah, the Devils. I mean, I don't dislike the Devils. I'll root for them because I grew up almost down the street from their arena. So I've seen a lot of Devils games. But like all those rivalries right in there. And the same from the North too. I mean, all the Canadian teams against each other. Not to say that the West and the Central don't have big time rivalries, but the ones from the East are long grown in there. I'm excited, especially for Flyers Rangers. That to me, that and the Flyers Penguins, to me, those were always my favorite rivalries growing up. And to see that happen 8 times. And they're also going to do like baseball type series. So they might have like 2 games in 3 days in the same arena. So the Flyers might have 2 games at the Garden in 3 days against the Rangers. Like, that's just going to be something. And you're right. They nailed it right on the head.
Yeah.
There's only one little caveat happening here. There's a couple of Canadian teams. They might not be able to host games, Vancouver, Toronto, Ottawa, and Montreal, because their provinces haven't signed off on those governments. But they're talking right now to the NHL about it. I have a feeling they'll clear that up.
Absolutely.
But some possible options, especially since they handled the bubble so well over in the winter. But if that doesn't work out, they might do a hybrid bubble. They might try to do what they did in Edmonton and just have all of them play there.
Yeah, all them play
out
there.
a couple games a day. Or they might do what the Raptors did and find an arena in the United States. So,
okay.
So we'll see how that ends. And that might lead to another realignment, honestly.
that would be crazy.
If that were to happen. Yeah, because let's say, Montreal now has to play in Tampa, or something like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, I do.
It could happen.
Yeah, absolutely. You can't put anything past what's going on with COVID, man.
Yeah, honestly,
anything could happen.
Anything could happen. And you know what? More credit to the NHL too. I don't think they get enough. They don't. Obviously, they're not talked about enough. They're the clear number 4 sport in the country, and right now they're kind of even battling it out with soccer because the MLS has become pretty popular lately. But the creativity and the innovation that the NHL always seems to have, they keep themselves fresh. They do stuff like this. They realign. They give you a reason to be excited about every season. And honestly, Matt, they have the best playoffs out of all the sports.
Oh, no, absolutely, Zach. I mean, last year in the bubble, it was kind of like a travel tournament, really. The playoffs was.
Yeah,
it was cool. It was like the world's best hockey travel tournament in Canada. How great was that? It was awesome.
It was unbelievable.
It was really cool, man. And I just think that the NHL, like you said, they're the clear fourth sport out of the major sports. But doing stuff like this can gain some popularity because people are going to be tuned in for the 5th or 6th game between the Flyers and the Penguins. People are going to be tuned in.
Those are going to be big ratings, but NBC is going to get a lot of eyeballs on the TV.
The only thing that stinks, man, no more Doc Emmerich. That's the only thing.
I know, and this would be a great season for him, wouldn't it?
It would. It would.
I'm gonna miss him. I don't even know what it's gonna be like watching hockey games without
him.
Because I don't get Flyers games up here unless they're on MSG but most of the time I get them on Wednesday Night Hockey.
Yep.
Because they always seem to be on.
Yeah, so they're gonna be on a ton.
So to me, Doc was always the voice that brought me hockey. So this is gonna be something else. But a lot of fun. I really can't wait to do it. This is going to be super exciting, definitely for the National Hockey League. Just really cool stuff. They also amended their offside rule, but we're not going to get too far into that. Before we do our favorite, our new segment that we have just for the holidays, Matt, I just wanted to talk to you really briefly about the college football playoff. I know I didn't write it down here in front of us, but like, what a wild, conference championship week it was. Like Ohio State ekes out a win against Northwestern. Alabama, had a really fun game against Florida. And then, my Clemson Tigers just beat down Notre Dame in a game that was never in question. So now the top teams are Alabama, Clemson, Ohio State, and Notre Dame. Matt, do you think
same as last year?
Yeah, same as last year. Do you think anybody got, I think somebody maybe got hosed or like somebody's in there that shouldn't be.
Zach, I wrote an article up. Wrote an article on my opinion on if A&M and Cincinnati got snubbed. Now, a lot of people want to, look past the Cincinnati, and I understand it, them being a mid-major conference team.
Right.
And I understand.
Kind of like how UCF always gets snubbed.
Yeah, UCF, they're actually – I looked it up, Zach. They're actually in the NCAA record books, that UCF team back in 2017.
Yeah.
As co-national champions with Alabama.
Really? Because they declared themselves national champions?
Yeah, they're in the record books. They just like that. They are co-champions with Alabama.
I thought they should have got a shot. That team was great.
Zach, that is my argument as well.
Yeah.
And I don't want to really hear anything from Texas A&M fans because they lost to Alabama 52-24 at the beginning of the season, right? So where you get to see them again in that 4 spot, get their butt whooped again by Alabama. Who wants to see that?
Yeah, probably not a great matchup.
I think the argument, Zach, is Cincinnati maybe getting an opportunity. I'm not saying, they're the clear-cut number 4. They deserve to be in.
Right.
But do they deserve to get an opportunity to get in? I think so. Well, see what they can do.
Right.
See what they can do.
Give them a chance.
Give them a chance, Zach. Give them a chance.
And
They can go out and lose 31-0 like Ohio State did to Clemson in 2016. They can also do what Notre Dame did a season ago against Clemson when they lost 30-3.
Yeah.
You don't think Cincinnati could do that?
Oh, they can do that. Well, yeah. I mean, I think Notre Dame are like massive dogs to Alabama.
20-point dogs. That's like the most in college football.
Yeah, so Notre Dame are 20-point dogs. Ohio State only played 6 games. They're going to get steamrolled by Clemson.
I don't think that game's close.
I don't think it is. I think it's just you're kind of gift wrapping Alabama, Clemson again for the final.
Yep.
So I don't even understand. Yeah, why not give Cincinnati a chance?
Well, what they really need to do, Zach, is they need to expand this thing to 8 teams.
They do.
I mean, they got to extend this thing to 8 teams because you see that this is just a constant thing every single year.
Right. And I love the idea. The playoff is great, but
it's a great idea.
I'm
with you, but when are we going to start seeing maybe some other teams, get an opportunity? And I understand, that Cincinnati didn't play anybody. I get that. Their strength of schedule isn't any good usually. They beat up on the teams that are on their schedule in the American, and they're a pretty solid team. I mean, it's identical, Zach, to that UCF situation.
Yeah, why are you punished for the conference you're in?
Yeah, they're getting punished for the conference they're in, right? Yeah. And UCF beat up on Auburn. So they were like, we beat Auburn. That's an SEC Power 5 team.
Yeah.
We should be in this thing. Now, if this happens again, where Cincinnati, they're in the Peach Bowl with Georgia. If they beat up on Georgia, they're going to be like, hey.
Yeah, Georgia's a great team. Or has a history of being a great
Georgia's
team.
a really solid football team and who's made the playoffs in years past.
And they have a great coach, too.
Kirby Smart's a great coach. Zach, I just wish they'd get a possible opportunity because we've seen other teams who have been in this thing that would just get blown out by an Alabama or blown out by a Clemson. And you sit there and say, hey, man, like just give a Cincinnati a chance once in a while or give a UCF a chance or one of those teams that is surprising an opportunity. That's all I want. Right. But I don't think a Texas A&M should be complaining because They got steamrolled by Alabama. They didn't make their conference championship, and they played Tennessee for whatever reason just so they could get their 8th win. That's really what that boils down to.
That's true. Yeah, I don't know. It's just college football to me has always seemed very, I don't know, not corrupt.
It's funny, Zach. The sport is so unpredictable, and there's
Right.
so many big plays, and there's
Right.
so many upsets. But the thing that's so predictable and so disappointing is the college football playoff, because 3 teams are going to be in it, Zach. I did the history of this. 7 years the college football playoff has been around.
I've watched all
6
of them.
times
Mm-hmm.
Alabama's been in. 5 times Clemson's been in.
Mm-hmm.
4 times Ohio State's been in. And in back-to-back seasons, Notre Dame's been out. Now, I think Notre Dame should be in this thing, Zach. I really do.
Really? Because they got embarrassed against
They did
Clemson.
get embarrassed.
They looked they didn't look like they belong in the same building. Yeah.
No, yeah. I think they do deserve to get in because they beat Clemson earlier on in the season.
Yeah, but Clemson was missing.
Trevor Lawrence wasn't there.
Well, and the starting linebacker was out too.
I get that, but
yeah.
you did beat the number 1 team in the nation at the time.
In double overtime.
It
still took overtime.
It took a Herculean effort to beat him in the first place.
Right, and they were missing the consensus number 1 overall pick in the upcoming NFL draft,
yep.
and
what
one of
happened?
the best linebackers in
And what happened when at least one of those guys
they both came back, and it wasn't even close.
And it wasn't even close. So I understand why the committee put them in just because they beat Clemson. But I really would like to see, just in such a year, 2020 being so unpredictable, why not put a Cincinnati team in?
Yeah, why not? I don't know, man.
I just think they just got they always get the short end of the stick.
Well,
and we see the same game, year after year with somebody getting their butt whooped by Alabama, and it's the team that, like an Oklahoma or a Notre Dame or somebody like that. And it's just like, can we give a chance to another team that maybe deserves to be in?
It just bugs me because this is what I think turns a lot of people off to college football, because I'm into it mostly because I'm a Clemson fan, but a lot of people in the area I live, like the New York metropolitan area, could not care less about college football until the very end of the season. And I think a big problem is it's always the same. There's no parity at all.
Yep. That's
and
why
even
8 teams.
Right, and even when there's an opportunity to create some parity, like you expand, you make it a 4-team playoff, it's still the same teams over and over and over again.
Or at
and
least
you get,
3.
And you get a team like Ohio State. Now I get it; they missed out on some games from COVID, but to me, it really bugs me that they only played 6 games and they're in the college football playoff. Yep. That really bothers me.
Everybody's like, "Oh, if they would have played 9 games, they would have."
But they didn't play 9 games. Yeah, well, we could play what if until the cows come home.
That's what I'm saying, but that's what the
committee
thinks.
Yeah,
that's their thinking.
Well, that's what I like that Dabo Swinney put them 11 on his list. Did you see that?
I thought that was really funny.
I loved it. I think that's good. Now is that going to motivate Ohio State? Yeah, that's.
could that bite him in the butt though?
It could, but if I'm taking Justin Fields against Trevor Lawrence head to head, I'm taking Trevor Lawrence every day.
Not even a comparison, in my opinion.
No, and the Clemson defense is so good too.
Quickly moving between those 2 quarterbacks, Zach, a lot of people have Justin Fields as the number 2 quarterback coming out. What Ohio State quarterback has ever been good in the NFL?
I was thinking the same thing yesterday. The same exact thing. Yeah, Cardell Jones, flop. Dwayne Haskins, embarrassing.
Did you see what happened with him?
I did see what happened. Maskless at the strip club, right?
$40K, and he's not a captain anymore. For what he did, I guess he was in a strip club. Is that what the issue was?
With no mask on.
Yeah, with no mask on.
Yeah.
The fact that he was even named a captain.
I know.
He doesn't show any captain qualities.
What if I'm just thinking now, what if he exposed some guys on the team that could bump Washington's playoff chances if the Giants win a game?
100%.
That's risky. That's really bad. I don't think that really made it into the conversation as much with Haskins. But you're right. Ohio State. Yeah, what Ohio State quarterback has really come in?
Not any good.
Right.
The list goes on and on. On and on. JT Barrett. What's he done? Nothing. Braxton Miller. Nothing.
Mm-hmm. Braxton Miller became a wide receiver.
He was a wide receiver for the Houston
For
Texans.
Houston but only for a little bit. He didn't
Yeah,
even last that long.
That's what I'm just saying. Like this narrative that Justin Fields is going to be an amazing NFL quarterback. The odds are against him.
He had a great season last year, but then laid an egg in the playoffs. In big games, he didn't play well against Northwestern either.
No, they ran for over 300 yards. That's why they won the game.
Now his thumb was bothering him, but how's he play? How's he playing big games? Trevor Lawrence, every big game that he's in, he plays well. Even when they lost the national title game to LSU last year, he had a good game.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
he's one of the he's up there with. If we're going best quarterbacks that I've seen in recent memory, I mean, I've been around 23 years, and I started watching college football in the mid 2000s. That I really remember. He's like Tim Tebow,
or like Andrew
popularity.
Luck. Yeah, or like Luck in terms of talent.
Yeah, and Luck. Yeah, Andrew Luck in terms of talent. I like that.
In terms of can't miss, this guy's going to change an NFL franchise.
Andrew Luck.
Yeah, he's
I like
Andrew
that
Luck.
a lot. You're so
popularity
right on that.
Though. You're right. He's like Tebow, but he's not going to end up like Tebow.
No,
he's going to go
to throw the ball. The big thing with Tebow is he couldn't pass.
No,
he could run.
Well, he could pass. He could pass on the 1 yard line, the jump pass. He could do that. That was my favorite. I loved watching him do the jump pass growing up.
Did you like watching him in the pros?
I did. I liked him too. Actually, you know what, Matt? I've seen him play live because my grandfather
Jets game on Thursday night.
No. I saw him in the preseason a few times.
Okay.
But I also saw him play a game AA for the Binghamton Rumble Ponies a few years ago, baseball.
Oh, you saw that?
He jacked a home run.
Was it packed?
No, it wasn't because it rained that day, but we still went because we bought tickets. He jacked a home run. It was great. We got a picture of him. I went right behind the on-deck.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
A couple snapshots. Yeah, he is always a fun athlete to watch. Oh, man. Well, we teased it enough, Matt. And now I think it's time for a segment that we're both really excited about.
Oh, I'm pumped for this.
And this is something I kind of just thought about on a whim. I'm like, what could we do for this to really make this a holiday episode? Now we can say it's a holiday episode, but then not really do anything with it. But, with all the great December holidays that are in here and the gift giving that occurs, we got to do something. So we decided to do a quick little segment called If You Could Give Your Favorite Teams One Holiday Gift, What Could It Be? And Matt, let's start it off. Let's start it off with you. You have a favorite team from each of the four major sports. What would you give them this year? Or, I know your team, so we'll do it this way. I'll ask you like per team. So I'll say the team, and then you tell me what gift it is. And then you have a list of my favorite teams. How about we do it that way? Does that sound good to you?
Yeah, that's good.
All right. So first and foremost, Matt, and I'm going to go out on a limb.
Are we going to do like I do one, then you do one, or you just
Yeah. Let's do it that way.
Okay.
All right. Let's start with the NFL first. And I think I'm going to go out on a limb and say that this is your favorite team of all the four. Is that true, the Baltimore Ravens? Are you a bigger NFL fan than anything else?
I think so.
Yeah? All right.
Yeah.
So your Baltimore Ravens, Matt, 9-5, good shot to make the playoffs. They seem to be turning things around. If you could give the Baltimore Ravens one gift this holiday season, what would it be?
I'd probably say a wide receiver, preferably like a Jerry Rice or Randy Moss, because if there's one thing that lacks on this Ravens team, it's the inability to get open with wide receivers. Now, Hollywood Brown's improved, and Des Bryant caught his first touchdown. Love to see that, but I think if this team were able to have just a dominant wide receiver, if I could give them a Christmas gift and said, here's Randy Moss for Christmas, this team would be a fringe AFC playoff team to a Super Bowl winning team. I really think that. So I think the Ravens getting a dominant wide receiver like a Jerry Rice or Randy Moss would be my gift for them, Zach.
Hey, if they were writing a letter to Santa, I'm sure that they would write the same thing on that list, Matt.
So, Zach, we're going to move to your favorite football team, the New York Giants. What are you giving them this holiday season?
So the New York Giants, they certainly need a lot of things. They're 5-9. They showed a couple weaknesses. I think that the biggest thing that they need is certainty at the quarterback position. Now, I'm not saying Daniel Jones is not the guy, but I think everybody can agree, and a lot of people in the area too could agree that you're still not 100% sure about him. Yeah, he showed some flashes of being really good, but when he was only playing at 80% in the other game, he looked terrible against the Cardinals. He's a guy that's missed a lot of time with injury, which is something that we're not used to as Giant fans. Eli Manning never missed a game due to injury in his entire career. And, he shows flashes, Matt. He runs the RPO really well. He can throw the deep ball really well. But, man, does he turn the ball over. And some of the mistakes he makes are just really frustrating. And if you're the Giants, you got the coach.
I think you do.
You have your coach in place. You have some good pieces. You have Saquon Barkley. I think the offensive line is getting in a good spot with guys like Thomas.
Definitely better than where it was.
Right. The defense is starting to look really good. Patrick Graham is just a wizard over there. He's a defensive guru. That guy knows how to push all the right buttons at the right time. And Blake Martinez is the first perfect captain of that group with Brad Murray and Logan Bryan and Jabril Peppers. They have, for the first time in a while, they have a great defense. But, yeah, certainty at the quarterback position. If you pair Joe Judge with either Daniel Jones ends up being the real deal or somebody else, I think the Giants are back into Super Bowl contention because this is going to be a good team moving forward if they have some sort of certainty at the most important position in the sport. All right, let's roll over. Let's go a little the NBA just started. So let's do a little basketball. Matt, your Philadelphia 76ers. This is a team I've heard you scream about the most. I think they frustrated you more than anything else.
No, they're the most frustrating team in basketball.
If you could give the Sixers a holiday gift, what would it
be? If there was any way possible, whether it's a fairy putting magical dust over Ben Simmons' left arm and telling him to shoot the ball.
Like shooting the chalk dust into the air, like that
kind
of magical dust?
Like LeBron James puts up the chalk, and when the chalk floats down, it just goes over Ben Simmons and says, shoot the basketball. Or
and make the shots.
Or if I'm in the stands and he's at the free throw line and I just wiggle my hands like this and it makes him shoot more. Anything like to be in his ear to just tell him shoot. Now, listen, the Sixers team, my thoughts on it. You just got to listen.
Yeah, no stranger to them.
To last episode on my opinion. They opened with the Wizards tonight. I'm tuning in to the game right after this episode is finished recording. I'm really looking forward to the 76ers team, and if there's any possible way, Ben Simmons can shoot a basketball at a consistent rate, I'd give that for him for Christmas. I don't know what else I can say other than that.
That turns the team around. Then all of a sudden they have a shooting point guard.
Yeah, I just whatever. Whether it's a fairy with dust, me doing this, I don't know. Whatever. He just needs to shoot the basketball, Zach.
He does.
How about your Nets? What are you getting for them?
All right, well, the Nets, we were just raving about them before, and honestly, if I can give him one holiday gift, it would be Steve Nash becoming a great coach. He's the only question mark really on this team. You're getting out of Kyrie. KD showed that he's fine. LeVert's great off the bench. Everybody on that team seems to know their role and what their job is to do. Now all that's left is, can Steve Nash be a great coach in the NBA? We don't know. He's never coached at any level before. So we'll see if he's able to, in some tight spots, push the right buttons. If this team goes through a rut, maybe a 2-3 game skid, can he help motivate them? We don't know. These are things that we have no idea what's going to happen with. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. If I could give the Nets one thing, though, it would be Steve Nash becoming a great coach for this team because, again, that's the only question mark for this Brooklyn franchise right now. All right, let's go. You know what? No, we'll save this one for last. I keep wanting to go to baseball. We'll save baseball for last. NHL action starting up soon. Matt, it pains me that you're a Rangers fan. I don't know how you live with yourself. No, I'm just kidding. I have a lot of great friends that are Rangers fans.
Great fan base, man.
Honestly, you're right. The Rangers fan base is great. I can't stand the team.
Nah,
but
I understand. Because I can't stand the Flyers either. So it just evens itself out.
That's what hockey's all about, baby.
Yep.
It's weird. Hockey has, I think, the most hatred, but also the most ability to put it aside and have excellent sportsmanship at the same time. You know what I mean?
You know what the best part about that is? What you just said? Like, after a 7-game series of just guys going at it,
Yeah.
like big hits, some fights, they shake hands.
They shake hands. And everyone's cool with it, too.
Everybody's like, oh, great series, man.
Yeah,
like,
great series.
good luck.
Good luck. Yeah, that's what it's about. Like, that's what's so cool about hockey.
I think that's the best part about hockey. Some of
is.
the best parts about like playoff hockey is like they
Oh.
go to war against each other, and then
They
at
do.
the end of the series, they just shake hands.
They shake hands, and I dig it. I really like it. I really, you know what, and some people might say that this is like a soft opinion. I would like it if all teams did that. I think it's a cool thing that hockey does. And
Yeah.
and actually the NFL does it too, because you see the big meeting at the middle of the court.
Yep.
But I think even in baseball, now you might get kind of sick of it 162 times, so maybe only at the end of the series.
Yeah.
But, you know, like, why not? Or at least in the playoffs at the end. I think it's a cool thing to do. Anyway, if you can give your New York Rangers, now they have a lot of gifts already. This team looks like they're headed in the right direction. But if you can give your New York Rangers a present, what would it be?
Well, yeah, Santa's been very grateful for the New York Rangers over the last few years, obviously, with Panarin coming in.
Well, and they got gifted the number 1 overall pick after making the playoffs.
Yeah, got gifted the number 1 overall pick. Zach, here's my Christmas gift for them, man. If there's any way Kakko and Lafreniere can be one of the best duos in the NHL, this team, Zach, could be something special in the making. Now, they already are a young team, and I love the Zibanejad and Panarin combo. And Kakko had a good rookie season, I'd say. I think he, showed his youth a little bit for sure, but he grew each game, and he looks like he could be a solid player. And if the Rangers could get these guys to be something special, man, and they worked well together, watch out, because the NHL is going to be on notice. Now, they're still a few years out, and I love their coach. I think he coming from Union University, was the head man there in college, and he's grown a little bit. Now that the team played some meaningful games in the playoffs last year against the Hurricanes, I think it's a really young and fun group, and my Christmas gift to them, man, if these two guys, these young studs, can be an all-time great duo, this team could be winning some Stanley Cups in the near future.
Yeah, I'm worried about those guys definitely as a Flyers fan, because this team's young talent is great.
And you had a good season last year.
We did have a good season. Here's my issue with the Flyers. Now, we finally have a goalie. So that's not going to be
that's a good thing.
That's not going to be my Christmas present. Thank goodness. My entire life we haven't had a goalie.
Your Christmas present about five years ago.
Oh, 2 years ago.
Yeah, really.
Every year.
Steve Mason, Brizgalov.
We're like, Steve Mason, he's got it. And then he falls off a cliff. Brizgalov is great. Falls off a cliff, goes to another team, is electric. I don't understand. In 2010, we rode Michael Layton to the Stanley Cup final.
I remember that.
Michael Layton was our guy.
That's the year they came back on the Bruins 3-0.
Yeah, that was a great year.
Some electric names on that team, Zach.
Seriously.
Like, Scotty Hartnell.
I love those guys.
Scotty Hartnell, Briere.
Gagne. Yeah,
Gagne,
Briere.
Pronger. I mean, like, just from being around here in Philadelphia, and a lot of my friends, Flyers fans.
Yeah,
like,
that was a great team.
That team I really hated. They had some
really good.
Some really just grinders.
Yeah, and they ran into a Blackhawks team on a mission.
Oh, well, that Blackhawks team turned into a dynasty.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't feel as bad about it as I did as a kid back then. But right now, my Flyers, if I could give them something, it would just be the ability for all of their players to play to their full potential. That's what's been frustrating about this team.
I think so, too.
You got guys like Nolan Patrick, who was a top pick very recently. He's been out with injury, and when he's been on the ice, he's been good, but not quite up to his pedigree. Shane Gostisbehere had that unbelievable rookie season. He hasn't been the same since then.
Yeah,
and Claude Giroux, they were calling him, their own GM called him the best player in the world.
Okay.
Handful of years ago.
Player in the world.
Well, at the time, I was like, yeah, because he was explosive. But now he seems to have forgotten how to shoot the puck. He's so pass first, him and Voracek, that they forget they're top goal scorers in the league when they decide to put the puck on the net.
I mean, let's be honest. He is an all-time Flyer, great, but
he is.
I see where you're coming from with that.
He hasn't played to the Claude Giroux He's not the same guy whose jersey I bought years ago. And
Still got the jersey?
of course I still got. It's a Winter Classic jersey.
Oh, which one?
Got,
The black one?
No, the orange one that they play. I believe they played the Rangers.
Oh,
yeah.
That's a great one.
Yeah, they played the Rangers.
That was a great
in that
game.
jersey.
I know not for you, but
it's okay. The jerseys were cool. I remember where I was for that game too. I was down in South Jersey watching that game. Just disappointed.
A lot of my friends had tickets for that because it was in Philly.
Yeah, that must have been wow. That must have been really.
I wish
cool.
I wish I went to that. I've been to a lot of Flyers Rangers games, or a few.
Yeah,
for sure.
I've never seen Flyers Rangers. I've seen Flyers Devils a lot, and oddly enough, I've seen Flyers Blue Jackets a lot. For some reason, they always end up playing. They always end up playing.
Such a random team.
Yeah, they always end up playing Columbus. When I saw them, come back. They were down like 4-1, and they scored like 4 goals in the last period, something like that. Anyway. But, yeah, that's what I would give to the Flyers. Like, if their players can all play up to what they can be, and I don't think Drew's getting older or anything. I think that he can still be one of the top players in the National Hockey League. He's got the talent. You see him on breakaways. He's one of the best, he's one of the best at faking out goalies. He's just got to get there to that, back to what he is doing. I think that maybe he has to stop making the extra pass like he always seems to do and just – still
put pucks in the net, man.
Yeah, just put some pucks on the net. All right, so finally, the sport that brought us together, Matt, we're going to roll over to baseball, and this team could definitely use a lot of gifts. I'd like to see what you'd like to give them. Your Baltimore Orioles, Matt. What would you like to gift the O's?
The O's, I hope one day. But if I could give them a gift to have a winning season. Now, that seems like it's going to be a long time coming, man. It just seems like this team is going nowhere anytime soon. I saw they got rid of Jose Iglesias. Wasn't really too happy about that. Now, was he a piece moving forward? No. But
it's a good shortstop.
He's a decent shortstop, and he played pretty well. Now, I'm a big Anthony Santander fan. I love him. He had a great season.
You got him. You got Mountcastle.
Yeah, Mountcastle, who looked awesome.
Rauschman.
Yeah. No, I mean,
big boppers.
I'm excited to see him too, Zach. I really am. But if there's any way this team can just be competitive and get a winning season, I'd do it. They were just so much fun to watch, Zach. I've talked about this in length with some of my friends and my brother. I just wish this team was like that, 2014 division championship. Over when COVID first hit, I watched that game. It's on YouTube, and I kind of brought tears in my eyes just watching that.
They had some good players.
They beat the Blue Jays to win the division. Probably one of my favorite moments as an Orioles fan. Probably my best moment, as an Orioles fan. I also, watched some of them Yankees series games where they won. Now they didn't win the series. Now I know you probably love the Raul Ibanez game. I can't watch that game without getting upset.
My buddy Reed and I love Raul Ibanez
for that game, the 2 home run game.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh! But yeah, Zach, I remember watching that game. They beat the Blue Jays, and just seeing Adam Jones, who is my favorite baseball player.
He's
ever.
A good favorite player to have.
Yeah, he's my favorite player, no doubt about it. Just seeing him running with that flag, man. I still got the shirt, the AL East Division Championship shirt, but that to me was my peak of Orioles fandom for sure. And if there's any possible way that I could give them, getting back to that moment, which seems like it's going to be no time soon. It looks like it's 10 years away.
They need somebody that can throw the baseball.
They without a doubt. The pitching is the biggest issue with this team.
Yeah,
because they have no pitching whatsoever, Zach. None. Now the bullpen, and some of the bullpen actually pitched pretty well last year in spots, Zach. And I think the Orioles really had a surprising season a season ago. And when we get to the MLB preview later along the line, I'll talk more in depth about this team.
For sure.
We'll talk more in depth about this division. And really the MLB as a whole. But I think this team surprised some people last year with some unexpected names coming through. And, I still like that they still got some young talent, but I just think they're so far away from anything that was back in 2014. It's really upsetting.
Yeah, no, that's for sure. The Baltimore
But
Orioles need a lot of help.
Here's something for you, Zach. The Yankees. I think you're right on the doorstep. So what are you trying to get them for Christmas this year?
Well, the Yankees, I mean, there's no questioning this team's offensive capability, especially if they're able to retain the services of one DJ LeMahieu. This is going to be a great offensive team again in 2021. I think we can all agree their biggest problem right now, they don't have – they got Garrett Cole, which is great, but especially if they let Tanaka go, they don't have really a lot of starting pitchers to get excited about. Now, Luis Severino is going to come back in June, and hopefully he's the same guy that, was a Cy Young contender a few years ago. But otherwise, I mean, I like Jordan Montgomery, but he's not that guy. I like what I saw from Clark Schmidt, but he's not that guy. Debbie Garcia looks like he could be pretty good, but he's not that guy yet. So the Yankees need another top-line starting pitcher, whether that be a Trevor Bauer or somebody else out there on that free agent market. If I could give them somebody – another big arm, a number 2 to slot in behind Garrett Cole, who was worth every last penny last season of that big contract they gave him. I mean, that start against the Rays was unbelievable in Game 5. I'm ashamed that they lost. Yeah, he's great. Like he's something else.
That's the problem with the Yankees the last 10 years is they haven't been able to get over that hump. It's
because of starting pitching,
and it's because of starting pitching, and it's honestly part of it is some of the bullpen's been an issue, especially in big spots. I'm saying
in the past few years the bullpen's been good. This year Tommy Kahnle being out really hurt them because they had to rely on Chad Green and Chapman and Britton almost exclusively because they couldn't trust Ottavino anymore. Yeah. Now that'd be a stocking stuffer I'd give the Yankees is some bullpen help.
Stocking. I like that.
Yeah, that'd be the stocking.
Yeah, they ain't getting cold this year. They're trying to get some bullpen.
Exactly.
So that was good. I like how you kind of put that in there.
Thank you. Yes, the stocking stuffer would be some bullpen arms. But the main gift under the tree that they would see would be another top line starting pitcher. Good. So yeah, that's our segment. If we give our favorite teams a holiday gift, what would it be? Matt, I thought that was a lot. That was a lot of fun.
That really was good, man.
We have to do that again sometime. All right, moment you've all been waiting for through the week.
I mean, it's really going to be hard to
top that.
To top that.
Yeah, but we have our NFL picks, which are really fun. And Matt, we've each picked 45 games this year, right?
Yeah.
Through 9 weeks, 5 games apiece. We've had our ups and downs. You've led the entire way, and now, Matt, we are tied. We are both 23 and 22 overall. All right, because you had – what happened last week? You were 2 and 3 last week?
2 and 3 last week.
2 and 3 last week. And I was 3 and 2 last week. So we'll see who can push ahead here down the final few weeks of the season. Now, man, not to – you know what? No, I'm going to leave this alone. I'm not touching the money because in my Survivor League – It's lasted till week 16, so I'm not even going to mention it, to keep the superstitions intact. But I've been pretty decent at picking there, so let's see if I can translate that into this week of picks. So last week I was 3 and 2. I won with Buffalo. I won with Miami. I won with my Cleveland pick. And I lost my Rams pick, which I think everybody on planet Earth thought that the Rams were going to beat the Jets.
I think, how you were talking about Survivor, your Survivor League.
Yeah, that knocked somebody out of the Survivor League.
That knocked out. I think there's there's a sports radio station called VSiN in Vegas.
Yeah.
And they do one of those Survivor Leagues. Mm-hmm. And that knocked out a bunch of people in that.
Yeah, it was me, my friend Justin, and then my friend Elliot's dad. For a few weeks all together, just the top 3 of us. There's a 4th person a while back as well. And it was just us battling out, getting them right. And me and Justin both picked the Ravens because we had picked the Rams back in week 4 against the Giants.
Okay, that was a good pick. Okay. And they struggled with that game too, but they were able to win.
Yeah, they pulled that one out. Yeah, and then this time, we just got lucky that the Jets won. We're not even going to talk about the Jets this week because we talk about them a lot. Maybe in the new year, once we see how they end the season, because I think everybody's heard enough about the outrage from the fan base on winning the game. I've never heard so many people mad about a win, but I get it. Anyway, Here are my picks. Oh, I also lost with Detroit, which I thought they'd play a closer game.
I thought so too. That I actually watched highlights of the game they played previously, just like the Lions and the Titans, and it was just an unbelievable game. And the Lions came back, scored like 14 points in like 30 seconds to tie it up. But I thought that was going to be a closer game as well.
Well, and we can agree that Matthew Stafford does not deserve Detroit.
No, he needs to get.
Or rather, Detroit does not deserve Matthew Stafford. He's got to go somewhere.
He's got to just go.
I'd love to see him on
go to Washington
or like Pittsburgh next year.
Yeah. No,
Put him on the Steelers with all those fast receivers. He'll be throwing 50-yard bombs. He'll throw 50 touchdowns.
Yeah, he will. They need a run game though in Pittsburgh. I'll tell you that.
They do. All right, here's what I got going this week. So Matt, I know the Jets came out. They upset the Rams on the road for some reason.
Back to back?
No. I'm picking Cleveland, visiting MetLife Stadium, laying the 9.5 points. Look, they just steamrolled the Giants. This team is the real deal. They're making the playoffs. They're probably going to advance around in the playoffs. That's how good I think this Cleveland Browns team is.
Yep.
I think that they're going to go in. They're going to play the Jets. They're going to be like, "Oh, you beat the Rams? All right, we'll make you forget all about that." And they'll remind Jets fans that it is more fun to win games based off how bad they'll lose this game. So the Browns are going to win this game, and they're going to do it by at least 9.5 points. Now, the Giants really let me down. I did have a feeling they weren't going to cover that 4-point spread last week, and I was right. I do think they'll cover this, though. They're playing Baltimore. Baltimore can't really throw the ball too well. And the Giants' defense, if it's built for anything, it's for stopping the run.
Yep.
So the Giants, I think the defense will do well. They're not going to – I don't think they'll win the game. But the Giants' defense is going to do enough to hold Baltimore to keep this a one-score game most of the way. I think they'll keep it tight, especially if Daniel Jones plays and James Bradbury ends up being able to play. So I think the Giants plus 11, it's a huge line at Baltimore. I think the Giants can at least hang with the Baltimore Ravens. Another big upset last week, Matt.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about. Monday Night Football.
I know
you
exactly
were tweeting all about this game, man.
Oh, me? Yeah, I was hot on Twitter.
You were red hot for that game. It was great.
I was red hot, man, on Twitter.
I was more entertained watching you on Twitter than watching the game.
Yeah, man. What we learned is that the jungle is the toughest place to play in the NFL. That's
well, we learned that. We learned that you don't tick off Von Bell, and you definitely don't dance on the logo before the game.
Yeah, no, that's what we learned. I mean, I was just –
and Big Ben is probably done.
I think so. I think so.
I thought he was done before the season too. Now that Mike Tomlin, give him credit, and their offensive coordinator, his name escapes me right now.
No,
give them credit. They found a way to get the most out of him this year, but I think that this is all you can really get. I think he's done. Anyway, Cincinnati's playing Houston in Houston. They beat Pittsburgh, and as bad as the Pittsburgh offense was, Cincinnati's defense stepped up. They were able to run the ball really well. Houston has a bad run defense. They can't really stop the run too well. And Cincinnati is down 8 points in this game. So I'm taking Cincinnati plus
That's an upset
8.
pick.
Yeah, I think they'll keep the game close because you know what? Because if they do stay in this game, it's going to be because they ran the ball well, and Houston can't stop the run.
Yep.
And their defense is pretty good. They can stop a few things from Houston, and they don't have Fuller for the rest of the year. So why not Cincinnati plus 8? And some of these risky picks you got to make them.
Yeah, that's exactly. The only thing I'm a little bit worried about with that pick there, Zach, is you just came off one of the best wins this season. Short week. You got to go on the road now. This Houston team isn't any good, but are you going to lay an egg? Yeah, that's what I'm worried about.
Oh, they certainly could, but they're really only a half game apart.
Yeah,
Houston's 4-10, Cincinnati's 3-9-1.
Yep.
So and one has Deshaun Watson, one doesn't, but yeah, Cincinnati. So Cincinnati might be a better team when you think about it.
Probably an all-around team. Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right, moving forward, I have another kind of wild pick.
I like this one, though.
Jacksonville plus 7.5 against Chicago. The Bears, I can't have any confidence in this team. And I think Jacksonville – what?
I know. You're right. You're right. I'm with you on the Bears.
Right.
The thing I just don't understand is, like, with the Bears is, like, they go out and they're scoring a bunch of points, right? This is a game. This is a game the Bears could lose, but I'll let you go.
Well, I think, and this is a game that every Jets fan wants the Jaguars to win and thinks that they can win to save their chances at getting Trevor Lawrence. And I think Jacksonville can very well win this game. I mean, I know that they're one in 13, right? One in 13 on the year. They've lost 13 games in a row. But this Bears team is bad. And remember, Jacksonville's got James Robinson. He runs the ball really well. He's third in the league in rushing. He's a big-time Pro Bowl snub, by the way.
He didn't make the Pro Bowl?
He didn't make the Pro Bowl.
Wow.
Yeah, he didn't make it.
Wow.
Neither did Tanyan for the NFC. Evan Ingram did it. As a Giants fan, I don't think Evan Ingram should have made it. No, Tanyan had 10 touchdowns.
Yeah, he didn't make it. But he's the Packers tight end, right?
He's a Packers tight end.
Yeah.
Yeah, our buddy Conlon Birdsall was red hot.
He was red hot on Twitter.
He was not happy.
Red hot.
I didn't want to engage him on that.
You could have just spit out some Evan Ingram's better. You would have lost it.
Oh my God. Man, we had some fun sports debates with him this summer, didn't we?
We did.
He loves to debate him some sports. He's a great person. We got to have him on this show.
We got to have him on talking NFL.
He's got some of the crazy, not crazy takes, but he's got some really good, passionate takes.
Yeah, we'll get him on. We'll get him on.
But yeah, I got Jacksonville plus 7.5 against Chicago. I think Chicago lays an egg at home. Jacksonville comes in and can get it done and get a second win, and then hopefully, for the Jets fan base, that Gang Green does their job and loses out the rest of the season.
You never know.
Yeah, you never know. This team, even when they win, they lose. And finally, I got some Monday Night Football action. The Buffalo Bills at the New England Patriots. There's an official change of the guard here in the AFC East. The Patriots are going to miss the playoffs for the first time since 2008. Buffalo might be the second best team in all of football.
I think so.
They're laying 7 points. They'll probably double up the Patriots.
Yeah.
I think they'll score. They'll win. Well, not double up altogether, but I think that they'll win this by 2 scores. I'm taking Buffalo all the way. Especially, I think Stephen Gilmore is hurt. Is that correct?
Yeah, he's hurt. And, like you said, New England's out of the playoff picture. They're officially eliminated. So,
and they don't have a quarterback.
Motivation are they going to have?
And they have no quarterback play.
Yeah,
Stidham stinks. Cam Newton is terrible all of a sudden.
I wonder if he'll come back. Wonder if they'll bring him back.
I don't think they bring him back. I think he's going to be a backup somewhere, which is a shame because he was a superstar for years.
Oh, yeah.
Great player. But, yeah, so that's what I got. I got Cleveland minus 9.5 against the Jets, the Giants plus 11 against the Ravens, Cincinnati plus 8 at Houston, Jacksonville plus 7.5 against Chicago. Or actually, they're at home. Sorry, they're at home against Chicago. So Chicago's not going to be at Soldier Field. And Buffalo minus 7 at New England. Those are the picks. Those are going to get me, keep me above 500 and push me ahead of Matt for next week.
Oh, whoa. Yeah. All right. Yeah, Zach. 23 and 22 overall. We mentioned that. We're tied up. Had a great start. Haven't really been that good since then, really. Went 2-3 last week. Won the Bills, won the Browns, lost the Jags. I had the Jags plus 13, really not sure why. Eagles plus 6. They lost by 7 in Seattle, who won by 5, but I needed them to win by 5.5. That didn't happen. This week, Zach, we're going to kick it off in Baltimore. You got the Giants plus 11. I got the Ravens minus 11. This team is entirely too hot right now, and I think they're going to steamroll the Giants here. I know it's a high number, and New York, they haven't really been playing good football as of late. I could see the Giants taking some risks, kind of like they did against Cleveland early.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about that.
Well, that's the thing. I was yelling at my TV because I was rooting for the Giants in that game, Zach, because the Ravens are behind the Browns.
Oh, right, yeah.
Tiebreaker. And kick the field goal, dude. They would have been up 9-7 at least.
Here's what I will say about that. I agree that they should have taken the points on some of those drives, but I liked the guts for some of the call, and I kind of liked the frame of mind. I was listening to
you didn't. Please don't tell me you liked the punter throw.
Well, I don't like the fact that in an attempt to score 6 points in an NFL football game, the Giants thought that Riley Dixon should be throwing the ball to Nick Gates, but. I did like the trying to keep him off balance aspect of it. I thought that was fine.
I think
if you're going to go for it, go for it. But
Yeah, no,
I thought that play call wasn't great, but I do like the frame of mind. Like, hey,
Yep.
you know what? We have to – they knew that they needed touchdowns to beat Cleveland. So let's try to score touchdowns. And they didn't. And that's just what ended up happening. They came up empty-handed. Now, again, you can look back, take the points, but I don't know. I thought that it wasn't the worst thing in the world. I don't think it was that bad. So, but I can see why you have the Ravens -11. If the Giants can't score any points, it doesn't matter how well their defense plays.
Yeah, Zach, I agree. And, I think the big thing with them, and especially in that Browns game, they moved the ball pretty well in that first half. They were really slicing and dicing up and down the field, just unable to finish drives at the end of the day. And they knew, like you said, they needed to score touchdowns. They didn't. They tried to take some risks. Were unable to cash in on those risks and lost the game. Now it was a competitive football game, but I just think the Ravens, the way they've been playing right now, they're really tough to beat. I like them -11 in this game here, Zach. Moving along, this is an interesting one here, Zach. I got Pittsburgh, they're home underdogs against Indianapolis Colts, and I think Pittsburgh's going to bounce back, Zach. There's just something, I'm just feeling something. Now, they're not playing good football, and I get all that, but
they've been worse than the Jets the last 3 weeks.
They've
scored fewer points and have lost all their games. The Jets have a win.
Yeah, I just if there's a time to snap out of it, it's right now for Pittsburgh against a tough Colts team that's really good. And how about the play they made at the end of the game against the Texans?
Yeah, this is a great team. I'm excited to watch this Colts team in the playoffs.
Yeah, I think they're going to need to win this game if they want to make it. And they're -2 on the road here against Pittsburgh. I think Pittsburgh might win this game. You can mess with the money line if you want, but I think this is going to go right down to the wire. The better number would be Pittsburgh +3. So if you could get that there, that would be good. But I'm going to take Pittsburgh +2. I think they might win this game. Juju finally saying, I'm done dancing on the logo. Thank goodness that's done, because you've seen where that's gone.
Yeah.
Where that's gotten him.
He got his bell rung.
Yeah, the whole team's gotten their bell rung.
Mm-hmm.
So I like Pittsburgh +2. I think Big Ben isn't going to carve up this Colts defense. I just think I could see this game being, 17, 15, or, in that range, or 27, 25, somewhere around there. I think the Pittsburgh Steelers could cover this spread here. Pittsburgh +2, Zach, moving along. Panthers +2.5 at Washington.
Ooh, you're down on your team?
Yeah, I'm down. I'm down on them. After what I saw from Dwayne Haskins, man, this week.
He's not playing this week.
He's not playing. He's he lost his captain privileges. Did keep him in the game, but I'm down on him. I am down on him. They've been playing solid football. I get it, and their defense is keeping them in games, but Panthers, I'm going to take them here, +2.5. Now, they're not a good football team, and they actually flexed this game to 4 to line it up with the Eagles game.
Yeah,
because if Washington wins this game, they're in. So, big game here for Washington. I'll believe it when I see it with this team right now, especially on the offensive side of the ball.
Is it a win-and-in situation?
It is a win-and-in situation.
Because if the Giants win out, Washington would have to win out.
Well, you know what it does? I'm sorry.
It gives them a big advantage, though.
I'm sorry. It eliminates the Eagles and Cowboys from contention if they win.
Yeah.
I'm sorry about that.
But if the Giants lose in the 1:00 game and Washington wins, then that's it. Then that's it. Yeah.
So big game here, potentially here for Washington. I think they might win the game, but I'm going to take Pittsburgh or Carolina, with the points there, +2.5. Panthers +2.5 against Washington. They battle this Panthers team. They haven't been able to win games, but they were pretty close, or kept the game close, rather, against Green Bay on Saturday. They got down early in that game, but battled back, made it 24-16. This isn't a really good team offense, and I think that could play in their favor, but they're going to have to move the ball, and it's going to be tough against that Washington defense. That's one of the best defenses in football. But I'm going out on a limb, and I'm going to take the Panthers +2.5 there. And moving right along here, Zach, I got the Eagles -2 against Dallas.
That's going to be a tough game.
Yep. I got the Eagles -2 against Dallas. The game's in Dallas. And I just like the way Jalen Hurts has been playing. Did you see that game against the Cardinals, Zach?
Jalen Hurts, they might have fallen into a quarterback here, the Eagles.
Yeah,
Hurts has been playing really well.
Yeah, he really has, Zach. I've been impressed. Now, Dallas has looked much better as well. They beat up on the 49ers, scored 41 points in that football game.
Yeah, they're figuring it out.
Made Nick Mullins look like first off, can we just stop with Nick Mullins? Get him. I want to see Beathard out there. I do. I'm tired of Mullins, man. I'm tired of it.
There's too many Mullins stands going around right now.
Yeah, Mullins, man.
He's all right, but come on.
That's what we've been calling him. We were just watching the game, and we're just oh, there's Mullins, man, leading them down the field, and he hasn't been doing anything. Get Beathard in there, please. But that's besides the point. Anyway, Eagles -2 against Dallas. Dallas has been playing better, but I think the Eagles have been too, and I like where they are right now as a team. They seem to be playing a little bit more together. Eagles -2, Zach. My last pick here, it's going to be one of yours, and I really like it, and that's the Bills -7 against New England.
Yeah.
Monday Night Football. New England is done, Zach. They're done.
And they're banged up. They don't have a quarterback.
We've mentioned they don't have a QB. They just seem uninterested now. Now, they did play the Dolphins tough, and I'll give them credit, and they've struggled in Miami for years. But this Bills team, I like what you said, Zach. They are the second best team in football behind the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah, they're a
better
great
than the
group.
New Orleans Saints, in my opinion. They're better than Pittsburgh. Showed it against them.
And Josh Allen can play.
And, dude, this guy, is he the MVP? I think he might be.
I think you still give it to Mahomes just because he's just unbelievable. He's almost automatic. I mean, you can make a case for Rodgers too, but the things Mahomes just does on a week-to-week basis.
So we could say that this guy's a top 3 MVP.
Yeah, I'd say right now, he'd be in the top 3 for MVP voting.
Yeah, so all right, Zach, I'm going Bills. You know, they have proved to me that this is a legitimate Super Bowl contending team looking to get their first Super Bowl in franchise history. That would be an unbelievable story if they were able to get it. Zach, I know, I don't know if you've seen it, but have you ever seen the Four Falls of Buffalo, the 30 for 30?
I haven't seen the 30 for 30, but I reference their 4 straight Super Bowl losses all the time, all against NFC East teams, by the way.
Yeah. And that Giants one, I think the Redskins, or was it the Redskins? Or I think it was the Cowboys in there.
Yeah, I think the Cowboys twice. Washington beat them.
Yeah.
The Giants one is the best one. Wide right.
The wide right, yeah. So, I think the Bills could really do something special here in the postseason. I like a -7 against New England, Zach. It's just plain and simple. Josh Allen, McDermott, he's a great coach. They got weapons. And how about Stephon Diggs? That trade is looking so good.
Looks better and better every day.
So I'll recap my picks, 23 and 22, trying to get an advantage on Zach. We only got one similar pick.
Try to get it again.
The Bills. So I got the Ravens -11, Pittsburgh +2 against Indianapolis, Panthers +2.5 at Washington, Eagles -2 at Dallas, and Buffalo -7 at New England. Zach.
Matt, is one of them your money line pick of the week?
Well, we're going to do that right now, and I think my money line pick of the week is going to be Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh versus Indianapolis at home. Mess with the money line. Mess with it. Because I think it could happen, guys. I really do. As bad as Pittsburgh's been playing, I think they bounce back. And, I've said this before on this program before. Phillip Rivers could do something stupid at any given time. So there we go.
And Chargers fans know that well enough.
By the way, you see my tweet on the Chargers theme song?
I did, yes.
Oh, how great of a song that is.
Man. That was when they were in San Diego.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I love that song. I've been jamming to that since they've won. I've been throwing that on my playlist.
They're going to be good again pretty soon. They're going to make some noise. Yeah,
Woo, Herbert's awesome.
We're seeing some Herbert against Mahomes matchups that are going to be a good time. I think.
No, they got to change up some coaching things. I don't think Anthony Lynn's the guy anymore, but we'll get to that later.
Yeah, we'll certainly get to that later. And, yeah, you'll hear from us later next year in 2021. This ties a bow on our final episode of the season, our holiday episode, and our 10th program running of the year. We want to thank everybody for tuning in for 10 episodes. This has been a great ride, Matt, so far, and I can't wait to keep it rolling in 2021.
Yeah, absolutely, Zach. Hopefully, you have a safe holiday. Happy New Year to you. It's going to be a little bit before the next episode. Zach mentioned we're not going to have an episode next week. We're probably going to, take a week off, regather our thoughts here.
Enjoy the NBA, enjoy the NFL.
Yeah, maybe have a little bit more stuff to talk about, and be ready for an awesome 2021, man. And thank you for all the support. Really, it means the world to me and to Zach as well. The feedback's been great on the podcast. I've gotten some texts saying, this is awesome. So, if we continue to get that support, man, the content's going to be flying out. I might make a little highlight tape, Zach, of the first episodes. I think that would be pretty cool.
That'd be pretty
cool. On the lookout for that.
Nice. All right. I'll take that. That'd be a great holiday gift for everybody. All right. Yeah. So from all of us here at Zack and Mac, thanks so much for tuning in for 10 episodes. We'll see you in 2021. Matt, have a happy holiday and a safe holiday, you and your family, Christmas and New Year's and everything moving forward. We'll see y'all soon, and stay frosty.